Hi, and welcome to Remember This Roundtable. I'm Denise Boland. I want to first say Happy Father's Day to everybody, to all the men out there and all the women that are handling both roles. This is our third roundtable discussion, and the goal of this show is actually to bring hope in the light of all the depressing news that are coming out right now from the mainstream media. We want to share some insight. We've been doing a lot of research of what's going on behind the scenes, and we want to share that with you and just let you know that this is a very exciting time to be alive. Even though it doesn't seem like that, a lot of great things are happening behind the scenes. I've done a lot of research since the whole start of this pandemic and stuff. And one of the things that I found out, if you haven't seen Roundtable Part 1 and 2, I found out about a man named Joseph Gregory Hallett, who claims to be the new king of England. So what I did was I saw these interviews by Charlie Ward with the king, and I contacted him and asked him if he could be part of our show and just talk about that, you know, explain a little bit more about who Joseph Gregory Hallett is and this whole thing about him being the new King John III. So he came on, he joined us for Part 1 and 2, and he's gracious enough to be back here on Father's Day to join us for Part 3. And we also have with us, we have David Nino Rodriguez, Krystal Tini, Kingcharlie Prince, and Caleb T. Johnson. So I want to welcome everybody to Remember This Roundtable 3. And we also have a big surprise. We are actually going to have as our special guest, Joseph Gregory Hallett, also known as King John III. So make sure you stick with us. Okay, welcome guys. Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
So exciting times, yes?
Yes, very much so. I feel like I mean, I love this new technology and how we all get together, but I feel like I know you guys so much better now this time around. I feel like we should all be having a beer together at a table somewhere.
Right.
Although I'm sober now, but you know, maybe one beer water.
Well, David, I'm ordering you a mug that says morning coffee.
Oh, are you?
Yes. With David. Yes.
Perfect.
I love
man.
that because
Yeah,
he does his morning shows. Yes, that's great.
Yeah.
So
the reason I have, you know, the reason I need strong coffee in the morning is I have very bad sleeping habits, right? I toss and turn at night. I have insomnia. So, and I developed that in boxing because I used to get so nervous before fights. It would be 2 weeks out before a fight and I wasn't sleeping at all. And my trainers were like, man, what can we do for this guy? Like, and at that time in boxing, I would take NyQuil, sleeping pills. I mean, whatever would just put me out because I was so nervous before fights, and it stuck with me even after boxing. So now it's just like, you know, I just have horrible sleeping pattern. So in the morning, I need that really, really strong coffee to get me going. And it takes a while. It takes till about around this time, 1 or 2 o'clock, where I actually start waking up.
I never would think that as a boxer that you would be nervous, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, nervous about the fight and then how many thousands of people are watching and.
Yeah, no, I was terrified every time I fought, man. They'd have to kick my ass into the ring. And then I go in there and just, once I'm in there, everything's going. But man, I used to, it was torturous because, I mean, you're fighting the biggest, baddest dudes in the world. And you know, I was scared like a little kid every time. Even Mike Tyson talks about that, man. You can't get rid of the fear unless you're an insane person.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's self-preservation. You know what you're about to go into, and it would always, like, oh man, every single fight, all 39 of my professional fights and my amateur fights, I was terrified.
Amazing. But that's how you focus, I would imagine.
Yeah, the 2 fights that I lost. The 2 fights that I lost is when I wasn't scared at all. It's when I overlooked the guy and I was like, this guy's a bum, I'm gonna knock him out. No, those are the fights I lost.
Yeah. Now that makes a lot of sense.
But guess what, Dave? You're still in the boxing ring because now you're fighting against corruption.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, I should probably be a little more scared now.
We're psyched.
Yeah, put on our boxing gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing the transition that's happening right now. We're in the final stages of this, the Great Awakening, or the global financial reset. We're in the final stages, and as we spoke last time, this is when the haymakers come out.
Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy? It's funny because I seen this guy. He made a bet. He said, "I bet you I can lift this upside down without spilling it." He had water in a bottle. He said, "I bet you I can lift this upside down." And then he did it, right? The guy made the bet. And he said, upside down. and he
That's pretty good. I like that.
Because he didn't pay attention, you know? He said, lift up, upside down. He
Upside down,
Yeah.
I like that. Shit.
Yeah.
Aren't always what they seem. That's what I got out of that, right?
Exactly right. And it's you can mislead people. It's so simply. It's like one of the things that we used to do is when you go, what's that stuff that deaf people read?
Braille.
No, that's blind people.
Oh, no, man.
Just because you're moving your hands.
That was tricky. That's like, how many animals did Moses bring on the ark? And you're like, that was Noah.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to pay close attention to the words, because one word can mess up everything. You know? When he said, I can lift this water upside down, I had to pay attention. You know, he didn't say I could turn this water upside down. He said I could lift it upside down, and then he did it. He said upside and down.
Yeah, so what's things like now in the States with the media? Are they still just blurting out everything that the deep state are pumping them through?
Yeah, they're just pushing their agendas. It's a full court press now.
Yeah.
So you got Fox, you got CNN. I mean, it's just so ugly.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, the only time I hear the news is when I'm at my parents' house and they have it. I mean, they watch it like it's the gospel, but they're dinosaurs. You know what I mean? They're older. They're 85, 80. They don't understand how the internet really works. They still barely know how to work an email. You know. So, which in its own way is it's a simple life in its own way.
Yeah, they stuck the old way.
It's actually endearing because I love you know they're the last of that breed, of that era.
Yeah.
And I loved talking to them, and it's just, you know, they saw World War II, they saw, you know, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, all those decades, man, they experienced, and I love just hearing their stories, and they just take me back with everything they talk about. I could sit and talk to them for hours every day.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes they set in their own ways, you know.
Yeah.
You can't change
Absolutely.
it, no matter what. Even if they hear the truth and know it and like it, they still gonna sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. But we got
That's something to be cherished, you know, just hearing those stories and, you know, that keeps the memories alive too. You know, things that they've gone through and how they've gotten through it. And, you know, I think talking to our elders is like the best thing that we can do, and carry the stories down through the generations is so important too.
Oh yeah.
They're treasures, because if you think about it,
We're look at the history as we speak.
Yeah, like Indians, they have their elders, and they were the chiefs, and you know they would go to them for leadership and knowledge. And like now, the millennials and the way they treat their elders, and like there's no respect anymore.
No, exactly.
No.
You know what kills me
They're
the most?
disconnected from their roots, I think, their family roots.
You know what? You know what kills me the most?
What's that?
How when they playing a video of somebody and somebody's translating what they say, like we supposed to know that language. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How we know they really saying that? You know, all they do is say what they saying, but then we don't really know the truth. We don't speak a certain language. I don't speak Arabic, so if I don't speak Arabic and you translate in somebody's language and saying they saying this, I'm supposed to believe that?
Yeah, no, true, true.
You know?
Yeah, no, very true.
Speaking of videos, I don't know if you noticed, but because I've been uploading some videos to YouTube and checking out different videos, and over the last few days now, it seems like there's Biden campaigns coming up. Those ads are coming up on the YouTube videos. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah.
And you have to wait until you can skip, and you have to watch this whole campaign for Biden. I'm like, really?
Oh, I know, and it's so unfair, man. And then I wonder, like, does anybody have any clue or inclination on who he's going to pick for vice president?
Oh,
I know he said it was going to be a female.
Female and of color, right? Because what I think he's going to use is the gender and discrimination. You know, he's going to use the BLM and all this stuff to his advantage. That to me just seems like the playbook he would go by.
That would be the smart thing to do.
that's just how they play the game too.
Yeah.
Word on that, Charlie? Charlie would know. Any inside information on that?
They can.
Well, sorry, I was told that, and this was the difficult thing for me, was the fact that the votes really didn't matter, because Trump was going to get in if he wanted to. In their own words, if he's completed the job, he'll be given the choice whether he wants to continue or not. And that's.
But we're definitely not going to get a Democrat president. Is that definitely not good?
That wasn't.
Wait. So you're saying that once Trump completes what he's doing, that
given the choice whether he wants to run for another 4 years, or whether he wants to step down, and all this talk about whether JFK Jr. is still alive or not, he would, that would fall straight into place. But you have to remember that Donald Trump and JFK Jr. were very, very close friends beforehand.
right. Interesting.
So that whole thing about George with the magazine, you know about that, David?
Yes.
Yeah.
Issue, he'll reemerge in 2012. George will reemerge in 2020. So
You ever heard of something about? You ever heard of the Bohemian Grove?
I've heard of it.
You did hear of it.
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Oh, okay. It's they said it's a place where they do rituals and things like that over there.
Yeah, that would sound right.
Mm-hmm.
I just put out some. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's fairly clear that the deep state and the cabal have been doing some pretty horrific rituals. I stuck my head down the rabbit hole on a few of them, and I came straight back out because, as you know, I'm a father of 4, I'm a grandfather of 4, and I'm on the 4th wife. So, anything that goes against, children being sacrificed and stuff like that, I'd rather not know.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand why they're not making a lot of this stuff public. I really can.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. The sources that I have in Hollywood, and she knows they're A-list.
Yeah.
And the stuff they're telling me, man, is so disgusting and so jarring and so, to me, it's like you can't release that to the public because, first of all, I don't think even people can believe it, to be honest with you, because it's so bad.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to disconnect. I don't think people want to hear about that. I don't think you can air this out there. You'd have to look into it yourself and be open about hearing it. But it's so disturbing that you can't even imagine. I mean, it even goes further than what you can imagine.
Did you see that video that came out today that Hillary's been trying to stop coming out, where the lady was saying that she was sexually abused by Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton?
No, I didn't see that.
That came out today. It was sent to me today because Hillary failed to have it blocked from coming out. I was completely unaware as well that not only were they abusing children, but they were deeply, deeply involved in the cocaine trade.
Yeah, wow.
That too.
And Clinton himself was a big user.
I don't think Hillary has a soul. I think she's I don't even think she's human.
Well, it's interesting what you said there, because somebody said to me yesterday, because I did a question and answer to about 100 people yesterday. And we were talking about different things, and there was one woman there because I was saying that the next distraction will be the alien invasion.
Oh, yeah.
And she turned around and said they've already invaded. Some of them are already.
Yeah, well,
Sorry?
oh gosh, you know what? I have a topic for you guys for another whole show. I won't go into it now, Denise. I'll tell you.
Okay.
And it's very. I mean, yeah, it's she knows.
I need to fly out to the States and we'll talk over a beer.
Yes, yes. I want to come out there. I want to get the hell out.
I'll meet up with you guys. That sounds good.
Do you believe do you believe that they be cloning people?
Yeah, they're cloning people, definitely, 100%. They're cloning people.
They're even saying Pence. What do you think of that one?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard
Have
that.
you guys ever heard of a place in Canada called Clonade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
they create them. Yeah.
right.
Crazy.
They can,
I mean,
so basically, they can make 2 Trumps. They can
right.
make one.
Yeah.
They can make 2 or 3 of everybody.
Now that's.
But
Scary.
I mean, do those people have souls though?
Now that goes to show you. Remember that show used to come on TV, the invasion of the body snatchers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when they show these shows on TV,
Yeah.
this is something that they are predicting.
Right. They're hiding it in the open.
You know, but they use it in a TV show to throw you off, because when we look at it as entertainment, we don't think about that they really gonna do this. But
Until it's done. And people are like, oh my God, remember that movie when this happened? It's like hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. So when you think about the body snatchers, the invasion of the body snatchers, and they cloning people now, it tells you right there.
What's it conceive
I think they've been
right?
doing this for a long time though, man. I bet you they've been doing this for
Oh
probably
yeah.
50 years or something, maybe more. Who knows?
I mean, the first cloning case was Dolly, the what is it, a sheep?
Oh,
Yeah, like the 90s, right?
90s, but they were probably doing it with people way before that.
I bet you that was just the one. That was just to be put out in public, you know.
Exactly.
Everything they showed back then comes in the future, like the Jetsons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
predictive programming. Yep. They have to show us what they're going to do before they do it.
And that's what they've been doing. You know.
Doesn't it have to do with like universal karma or something like that? That's why they show you first, so that their magic works or something like that, so they don't have karma to come back to them. Is that how that works? That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even the thing with Tom Hanks, I mean, he showed Route 66 before Isaac Happy died. You saw that? And Kevin Spacey, I don't know if you saw when he came out with that video on Christmas Eve. And he said something like, kill them with kindness. And then right after that, one of his accusers was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get hold of him now.
They talk it into the. They predict it basically. You know.
I heard there's an average of 300 people leaving New York every day.
Yes, that's what I heard too.
And California.
It has to be more in California.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Denise, where are you at?
I'm in New York. I'm in Staten Island, so I'm like in one of the, the good boroughs. It's kind of quiet here. Not really much happens, and nowadays that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We were getting messages that they were going to come, Antifa was going to come to the island, and they were going after houses with flags in front of them and stuff like that. So, they had us all a little bit on edge, but thank God nothing happened.
They was going after.
Can you click on the link?
Why they was doing that?
It's not on. I've sent you the link on Skype. Yeah, we're on Zoom.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Cheers, buddy.
This guy's gonna be cool.
Welcome back, Caleb. Just don't touch your phone.
Denise,
video.
Denise.
Yes.
Why they was coming after people with flags though?
That was just a message that was put out on Instagram that they were coming after, I guess, patriots. I don't know. Anyone with a flag. They want to get rid of America, as we all know it. So that's the end goal.
Wow.
That's what they're doing in Seattle. Now they're going into people's homes in Seattle. I just saw that this morning, that they're invading people's homes, beating people up, ransacking, and looting their houses now.
Wow.
It's terrible, isn't
Eventually
it?
they're going to get blown away, and then that's going to stop.
Yeah.
They want to take our guns from us, but they're not protecting us. We need to protect ourselves.
That's why that's why they want to keep us from bearing arms.
Exactly.
Because they know that if you got a gun on them and they got a gun on you, then nobody gonna shoot.
I think the penny.
Exactly.
You know, we both gonna be like, okay, put yours down. Put yours down. All right, I'll put mine down. You put yours. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if you ain't got nothing.
I have a good security system. I have cameras and I got 2 pit bulls. I got a laser sight, 9 milli, a 45, and my friends down the street have AK-47s. I have access to the garage, so we're good.
Okay, I want to do a nice little intro here. We are bringing on King John III. We're all excited about this. We're so honored to have him. So let's all give him a great big welcome.
All right.
There he is.
Hail the king.
Can you hear us now?
There
How
he is.
professional are we?
There we go.
Hello, Greg.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey, how are you all? You good?
Oh, we're better now. Oh my God, so great to have you on our show. Oh my gosh, we've heard so much about you. Now we get to meet you.
It's all true. It's all true. Yeah, we've just been filming an aerial shot with a drone between the pyramids and the henge, stone henge, and a long pathway. And yeah, so we had to catch the sunset, and the interview was at the same time, so that's why we're a few minutes flustered. Yeah, so hey, you've been talking about me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, extensively.
All good things. Yes, we're telling everybody about you.
Good, good. Yeah, well, there's another teaser coming out, and then the video's coming out on about Friday. We think, not sure, but we think. So yeah, I'm kind of a bit close-lipped on it, you know, because I haven't seen it myself, and I don't know what bits they've left in and cut out, so I don't know how astounding it's going to be. So they start off cutting off the astounding bits, and then they realize that actually all that astounding stuff links. So I think they're going to start sticking the amazing stuff back in. And yeah, the film director, Dave Mahoney, he's been researching some stuff in Spain for me, and he's been getting all of these causal links, you know, like yeah, well, I just can't say too much. I think he's going to use it as another teaser. But suffice to say, we had a brilliant day today, nattering on, you know, visual telephone and making all these connections. And we've got all these leading psychics, especially from America, like tarot readers and astrologers and channelers, and they're all voluntarily contacting us and giving us the most amazing readings. You know, it's like everything that I suspected is being confirmed by these tarot readers, astrologers, psychics, channelers, and astro-theological astrology charts, natal something. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's great fun.
This is awesome.
Like Tom Cruise said when he's playing me in The Mummy, he goes, "Oh, great, it's all about me. Okay, let's go."
Wait, so the movie The Mummy was about you?
Yeah, 2017 one, yeah. The mummy plays Isis, and Isis says, "Hallett, my chosen, Joseph, do you accept?" And then it says, "Of the two, E, you are the hair." And I've got an E in each of my names, Joseph Gregory Hallett. So of the two of us, I was named the hair, which is kind of nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in about 10 movies.
That's
you know,
amazing.
They've been leaking it out slowly. You know. Yeah, it's been good. Good. Yeah. So,
Denise, how are the questions going to work? Because I have so many questions for the king.
I know. I kind of want to just ask him to give us a little backstory first, and then when he's done, we can ask questions, if that's okay. Is that okay, Gregory?
yeah, okay.
I know you can't say much because of the documentary,
Yeah,
but
okay.
maybe a few minutes.
I grew up completely as a commoner, like just totally normal background, like, you know, dead-end street next to a paddock. But I was having the most amazing spiritual experiences when I was growing up, especially when I was 18 in 1980. And that was when it really took off. And then again, well, right through from then, you know. I had a few spooky things leading up to it, so I'd get to position where I could appreciate it. So I've been operating on the spiritual level, actually influencing history since 89, 88. And the CIA took me, esoteric CIA took me to Patmos in 1988 to see if I had either written revelation or revelation was about me. And they said, what do you feel? And so I didn't feel anything, actually. And then they took me to Ephesus, which is where the Marys went after the, you know, after 8033. And then it was 25 years later that I found out where Revelation was actually written. And a couple of American psychics have both confirmed it, and the tarot readers have confirmed it. And yeah, so it's quite good, because like the film director Dave Mahoney and Lee Dawson, and I think, was it you, Charlie, as well? You went to a dinner last night. You're the guest of honor. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they were going, yeah, king and all that. But tell us about the spiritual stuff. Is that what was happening?
Yeah, there was. What's been fascinating is instead of us just going down one route of bloodline, to connect with the spiritual side, the numerology side, the symbology side, all these things that I knew nothing about. Yeah, that's been the absolutely the amazing side. We're finding out now the relevance of numerology and symbology that I never knew anything about. Yeah, well, it's numerology and birth charts, and that my understanding is it really shows, okay, this guy's got the potential to do this. And then when he does it, people then look at the birth chart, the natal chart, and they go, well, actually, yeah, he's doing what he was destined to do. So he's doing it with integrity, and therefore he's not making stuff up. And then the symbolic stuff, a lot of that comes into showing that you're fulfilling the prophecy. And what happens is every 1,000 years or so, what we've seen in the last 2,000 years, is that the royal bloodline, especially in the UK, turns rotten after 1,000 years. And then someone fulfills the prophecy and takes over as king again. And the UK royal families turn rotten again, you know, with all their pedophilia and murders and wars and heroin trafficking. And then someone who fulfills the prophecy comes in and takes over. And people accept it because he's got the philosophy, he's filled in the prophecy, and he's got the blood and the history and the court records. No, so because that's one thing you've got. The Dave Mahoney and Lee both came back to me with the saying that the amount of evidence, the factual evidence that you've actually got, documentation, etc., was compelling. Yeah, it's probably about 600, 1,800, about 3,000 pages. Yeah. And that's just in written form. No, that's all typed up in court documents and published. That's right, because that was my brief to them, was to say, go and get these documents verified, which they've done. And there's also a very interesting point that you've submitted those documents, not just to Buckingham Palace or to number 10 Downing Street, but to Donald Trump and also to the Vatican. Yeah. And nobody has contested it. That's true, and they've actually acted on it. They've what's it called? It's called estoppel in action. They've actually acted on the documents, so they haven't rebutted them, and they've acted on them. So they've accepted them. They've done cognitive acquiescence. They've accepted them and actively acted on them, which is amazing.
So
you know,
the Queen abdicated, and the Pope abdicated.
Yeah, the Queen's abdicated. The Pope's abdicated.
the royal family stood aside. Prince Charles is using body doubles. Queen Elizabeth II is using body doubles. Prince Philip's not appearing. Prince Andrew's been ousted. Prince Harry voluntarily walked away. And Prince Edward is a convicted pedophile in New Zealand.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of time before you take the throne.
Well, yeah, and I haven't watched it yet, but people are saying that President Donald John Trump was mentioning me last night in the rally. He was saying, Greg, his genes are good. His genes are great. Greg.
Amazing.
Wow.
Because
Yes.
I'd mentioned the extra chromosome I've got. I've got the XYY chromosome, which is shown up as a slow learner when you're younger, lots of pimples, lots of acne, and then you become more intelligent later on. That's a bit like being dyslexic, but uglier. And, so you know that extra chromosome is mentioned in the Bible, but the XYY chromosome was actually discovered in 1961 when I was born, which is a marker, and and it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible, but it's actually 1 in 1,000 males has it, so it's not that rare having that extra chromosome. So, you know what I mean?
Even Nostradamus predicted a king in 2020. Did you hear that?
Well, yeah, I think it was Quatrain 2020, and then a sub thing of 1020, and he said in 2022. King Charles III will be rejected for divorcing his wife, and someone who didn't expect to be king will become king. I mean, that's great, you know. I didn't expect to become king, and I'm getting hit with, you know, massive love bombs. And the last line in the Bible says, "I will come quickly," and I was getting 10 hits a day on my website. Now I'm getting 20,000.
Wow.
You know, and that happened in just a couple of weeks, you know. And the Pope actually said it. He named me on Easter Friday 2020, just before he disappeared. Actually, I'll put it in order. On my mother's 85th birthday, 8 and 5 is 13, so that's 12 plus 1, Pope Francis abdicated the title Vicar of Christ, right? And then on the 10th of April, 6 days later, he gave a speech in the empty Vatican and said, Joseph of Arimathea, and then there was a big pause where the camera pans out across the Vatican, there's no words spoken, it's a big shot, empty room, come back, and then he goes, Gregory, St. Gregory the Great, right? And my name's Joseph Gregory. So he was addressing me, and then he says, his documents, not a bone of it can be broken. You know, it's fantastic. I mean, they're really, really chillingly alluding to me, you know. And then on the Sunday, Pope disappears. Yeah.
Hologram.
Yeah.
We saw the hologram.
Hey, Pope, you all right? You all right? Yes. You want to go on camera? You want to go on camera? Come on. Hey, look.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. Who's that?
So yeah, that was the Vatican one. The Pope disappeared. But the other interesting thing is that I was born in 15 September 1961, which is actually Jesus' official birthday, which is kind of handy for claims, you know, because
Wow.
Jesus is always the first king of England. And so after I was a live, healthy baby for 1 year, 27 days, 27 was kind of a Templar mark of kingship. Pope Paul VI called the Second Vatican Council, and abdicated his prince title, his coronation, and said that no popes were to be crowned ever again, and started to send the crowns all around the world, all the papal crowns, right? Give them away. There's some churches in Washington that have them. There's a church in Boston that's got one. So the popes recognized that they weren't the princes of Europe anymore, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of fantastic, but it kind of fits in with everything else that's happened to me, you know. So now I've got all these leading psychics around the world contacting me and giving me all these readings and information and that, and I'm going, you know, it's just like all of my intuition and fantasies come true, but from other people.
Interesting that all the
how it must feel.
All the psychics have come up with the same theory, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
not just one or two. There's 12 of them.
Yeah.
Parts of the world.
The better readings are when they actually get the time of my birth rather than just guess it as midday. But yeah, no, so I'm really happy with it. So, you know, I've had some really well-known people ringing me up too, like, you know, rock stars and that, and everyone's going, oh, you know, so and so's on the phone, and I just take the call because I've dreamed it 2 weeks beforehand, dreamed the whole thing. So all of this is like just natural.
You had a dream? What was the
dream?
Yeah,
well, I dreamed that I'd be in this large room with a table that sat like 18 people, and then, you know, a well-known general from America would ring up, and then a well-known rock star would ring up and have a chat, and it all happened. You know, it all happened on the same day. Actually, one was in the morning, one was in the evening, and it's like, yeah, everyone's looking at me as though I should be stunned in that, but it's just normal. You know, it's just like, it's kind of like what I expected, and it just happened, and it's good. I'm just entirely okay with it. You know what I mean?
You can tell them who the rock star was.
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Very well known. They put it this way: there's no one on the planet that wouldn't recognise his name.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's enough said, because, you know, there's other projects going on in the background.
How is the consensus in England? Are you being accepted there? Are people like all, you know, excited about this? Are you getting positive feedback in England?
I am getting a lot of positive feedback. I think I got one negative from America and one negative, which I assume is in England, but it's really low class and it's all non-reality stuff, if you know what I mean. It's like drive-by yelling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you know, I've just been collecting my legal papers and sending them off to the military for them to analyse. Because the courts are biased, you know, it's the Queen's courts and they're absolutely corrupt. Actually, the courts in the UK are actually run by US human traffickers and drug traffickers, and owned by US human traffickers and drug traffickers. So there are no courts in the UK, and the UK says that it's got a common law court, but it doesn't. And it's only if you're very well connected that you can go into a back room and get a common law stamp. Other than that, we're relying on the common law court of Great Britain and international, which is getting an increasing number of members, and it provides a really good service. So the actual courts in the UK are entirely corrupt, just unbelievably corrupt, which is a total indication that the monarchy is corrupt, because the monarchy's role is to keep the courts honest, and it's done the exact opposite. It's motivated them to total just mayhem and corruption.
They're part of the deep state, would you say?
Yeah, totally the deep state. Well, the deep state in America is the Crown in England. The Crown is currently the deep state in England and the UK. Which is a certain indication that you have an illegitimate family, illegitimate royal family, and it was actually Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, which is the deep state all around the world. It's Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars that was crowned on Coronation Day, 2nd of June 1953. Not Elizabeth, because Elizabeth was illegitimate.
Wow.
And she knows that.
Did she know this when she took the throne?
Yeah, it was the future Pope Paul VI that stripped Princess Elizabeth or Queen Elizabeth of all of her royal styles and titles 68 days before Coronation Day, which I think is something like the 19th of March 1953. Yeah, and that's actually shown in the movie. It's codified in the movie Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck and Anne, Princess Anne, played by Audrey Hepburn, who were actually both spies in World War II. Yeah, lightweight spies, soft spies. Yeah, so it's all going crackingly good, and what's really good about it is that the whole world's come into line. The consciousness of the planet has lifted up to the stuff that I've been saying for the last 20 years, and they're going, okay, I just accept that now. I can absolutely see that. They don't read the date that it was published, like 2007 or 2005 or 2002, but they go, oh yeah, no, I accept that, So some of the, if you look at the Bible and that, some of the words, when you actually define them, it's actually really, really simple. Like, people go, Messiah, white gown, olive skin, piercing eyes, wanders on the edge of towns, comes up with wisdom. But it actually means his early works are followed later.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of it's really simple, and Lord means does whatever is required in the moment.
Interesting.
So your plumber can be a lord. You got a burst pipe.
Landlord.
Landlord, yeah.
Landlord, yeah. I need a place to stay. Landlord.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when is this going to be out? Like, what's the timeline on when all of this is going to be out in the open and you inherit the throne officially? Like, when do you think that's going to be? What's the timeline on that, you think?
Well, the interesting thing about it is people keep saying to me, oh, we're on 3 timelines. Even the military people say that we're on 3 timelines. We're trying to converge them, and what's actually converging them is the love bomb. People get behind this one thing that's going to be the catalyst, the quantum to change it all, and that's realize that the British royal family's fake, put the fulfillment of the prophecy on the throne, and start the 1,000 years of peace.
Beautiful.
That's what's happening. So what's happening now is all the timelines are coming into one, and I kind of feel like I'm the boy in the bubble walking through it. The clear bubble that you roll down the hill.
Right.
Yeah. What's that called? It's a name for it. Anyway, one of those. I feel like I'm walking in one of those, and all the other bubbles are coming in to absorb into it, like soft bubbles that you blow. What are they called? Detergent bubbles. Bubble rings. Blow them. What are they called?
I'm not sure, but I'm going.
We call them bubbles. I don't think we have another name for them.
You get a plastic stick, right? And you put it in detergent water and you blow through in the bubble.
Oh, yeah.
Bubbles, right?
Yeah, blowing bubbles. I don't know.
We call them bubbles.
The timeline bubbles, right? They go like this and form a bigger bubble, but it's one bubble.
Yeah. Longer bubble.
Yes.
So then you have like one reality, and there'll be a whole lot less interference in what people want to do and achieve it. Because at the moment, there's just all sorts of other interference and there's blacklisting and stuff like that. So
all these timelines that you're talking about are merging together right now?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of signs for it as well. Now, over there. Yeah. So my cameraman's asking me for a cigarette. So where were we?
We're blowing bubbles.
Make sure you give him the king size.
You guys are so childish. Yeah. So I better not say any more. I think there's a kids' party down there, like 1-year-olds and that. There's a whole lot of young adults drinking and getting drunk and just being merry in a garden. It's so nice. I just want to go down there and join them.
Man, this is the type of king we need to have right here.
That's right. It's like Trump, right? Trump is his people person. And
Well,
Gregory,
yeah, no, I like him. I like him. Yeah. So I had this channeler, and he's saying, ask me any question, ask me all this question stuff. So, I don't really use them, but they kept on persisting to ring up. And I said, oh, did I meet Trump on the steps of the Parthenon in 1988? And he's going, 1990. I'm going, it's 1988. And there's a lot of confusion at the moment about what year things were. It's a bit of that butterfly effect happening.
you met Trump back in the 90s?
Yeah, 1988.
Oh, 88.
Yeah. So that was the all important thing of being made Kronos, the cornerstone rejected, which is a really high position. I didn't really know what it meant. It was about 2003 when I found out actually what it meant. So the psychic's going, oh, you need to go and get this letter, right? So I said, oh, is that in Seville, around Seville? He goes, yeah. I said, is it around Italica? And he goes, yeah. So Dave Mahoney goes there today, and he finds the monastery where the letter could be, right? And he turns around about 800 meters from the monastery. There's this huge billboard sign, and it says, "We love you, Kronos," in English, in Spain, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's amazing. So what we've got is all these signs, everything's interconnecting, if you're running the main program, all the signs interconnect, like Queen Anne Boleyn had, she was a falconer, she had a Merlin falcon, and when we were driving here for the first time, which is about 2 weeks ago, this Merlin falcon was flying alongside the car with us at about, maybe 12 foot in the air, and we're at 6 foot in the air in a Range Rover. So it was, everyone's just getting these signs, and you don't have news anymore, you just have signs. The next century is a century of signs. That's how you get the news, and that from the signs you interpret the news by your heart. Your heart sees the signs, and that's your news. You know what I'm saying?
King, I've always thought that. I always pay attention to signs. Like, I always know, for me at least, whenever I see a hawk, like, and which is, like, probably now it's happening more and more often. They're always flying next to my house. They're always flying next to my car or my truck. I always take that as a sign. I always feel that intuitively, that is a sign being shown to me. I'm just figuring out for what. I'm just trying to figure out what the sign is, but I know it's a good sign. The synchronicity.
You don't look like you're doing too bad.
No, I'm doing all right. I'm telling you what, I have a request.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a song.
I want to visit Buckingham Palace.
Wait, this is all of our requests. Put it in for
I want to go there. I want to visit. I want to see it, man. This is incredible, man. I am very honored to be talking to you. I just want you to know that. It's my honor.
Same.
Great. Okay, well, here's the rule. You got to wear shorts and flip-flops, and you got to bring your flag.
You got it.
I will wear my flag.
Done.
Yeah, you can wear your flag, but there's all sorts of flags. There's the flag of the country, there's the flag of the people, there's the land flag, there's the maritime flag, there's a common law court flag. There's all sorts of flags, and come and present your flags. And we'll just hang the flags everywhere. So, this is this, and it becomes documentary. Come and stay over, but we got to do some light work and just heal that place, because it's been dark for centuries.
Yeah.
People don't actually like staying there. People don't like staying there at all.
Yeah.
So
I've seen videos on that place, and it's been disturbing. But, can I ask you? I'm just curious. Where can you say, or where is the royal family now? I mean, I know Buckingham Palace is empty, right? It's vacated.
Well, the Bible says they will scatter, and that's exactly what's happened. They've all scattered. And they've got clones doing interviews. Like the Queen did a Zoom interview, and it was a clone.
Wow.
Even I don't do Zoom interviews.
I mean, Yeah, so this is also
It's funny. He's joking with us.
We've also heard that they've been
Great
moving.
sense of humor.
We've also heard they've been moving furniture out of Windsor Castle.
Yeah, furniture and artworks. I think they're kind of under the guise of worrying about a revolution aimed there, but really they're just nicking the places they move out. You know, it doesn't really bother me. Doesn't really bother me. Like, I was given Queen Elizabeth II as soon as she abdicates, and that was back in 2011. I think it was the 10th of October, 2011. So, you know, I'm in charge of taking care of her, making sure she lives gracefully to the end of her days. There's a bloodless coup. You know, that's what's so beautiful about this. It's a love bomb coup on the Vatican and on the British royal family. And the British royal family is kind of in charge of banking, and the Catholic Church is kind of in charge of banking. But the Catholic with a capital C actually stems from Catholic with a lowercase c, and Catholic with a lowercase c actually means catchment. So what they used to do was build their churches on the top of a hill, and the catchment was all the dwellings and the people in it that they could see. That was their catchment, and they recorded that as Catholic with a lowercase c, and then it went into the next document as Catholic with an uppercase C, and that was the number of Catholics in the world.
wow, that's crazy.
So wherever you had a church on top of a hill, all those people were considered Catholics. Yeah. I mean, we've been living in a very nutty reality. We've been living in a non-reality, and we're actually merging into a reality that's actually a reality, and that's heart-based. You know, people can feel whether it's wrong or not.
This feels like an alternative
Finding out so
timeline.
much
I feel
stuff.
like this is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, we're finding out so much stuff that's just like shocking. And every day we're finding out something else, you know, but that's part of the Great Awakening, right? For us to just wake up to what's really going on.
Yeah, yep, all of that.
There was a very interesting point made yesterday by Ole Demigard, and he said that he's changed his vocabulary from saying, "Are you awake?" because he said that offends people, to "Are you aware?" And he said he's getting a better response from people when he asks them if they're aware rather than saying, "Are you awake?" He said people get
phonetically
offended, and they just
phonetically
close
a whole
down.
lot better.
Sorry?
Yeah. I agree, Charlie. It's phonetically a whole lot better to say, "Are you aware?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the great awareness then.
Yeah, well, we've just got ArAnGA, you know, and ArAnGA.world, which is awakening. But I suggest that ArAnGA is a good replacement for good morning, because morning is sadness. So it's good sadness, right? So people can be saying good rising, but ArAnGA actually is a really uplifting word. ArAnGA, you know, it's quite nice. It's a nice word. I
like that. I'm going to start using it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like it. It's supposed to be Maori, but Maori, the original Maori means white native. So before the brown skin Maori came in 1725, it was the white natives who are actually from Egypt and Persia. So ArAnGA, I suspect, is an ancient Egyptian Persian word from about 232 BC. ArAnGA. That's one of the power words, you know, ArAnGA.
ArAnGA, I'm going to use that. Good ArAnGA.
Yeah.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. Check this out.
I like this guy.
I know, it's great.
Oh, beautiful, man.
The longest day of the year.
It's a little dark. It's a little, okay.
Oh, this is great.
Where is this?
Wow.
This is
wow.
This is the Pyramid Garden.
It's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I might be losing you. I'm just getting let's look at this hot model trick picture now.
Great. That's great.
It's a
Yeah, it's a
beautiful
nice
garden.
garden.
It's big too.
How beautiful is that?
Beautiful.
Now, this is near Stonehenge.
No, it's Norfolk. Norfolk, right at the top.
You know, England looks like a rabbit that sat down. He's right in the tail, just above
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we're looking down on Sandringham House, Sandringham Palace.
Sandringham, that's right.
Yeah.
The Queen's house is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. That is so beautiful.
So beautiful.
I'm gonna go to the kids' party and cost the adults wine and food
Good
and
man.
merriment.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Anybody have a
King,
quick
I
question?
appreciate it, man. Hail to the king, man. Thank you.
Yes, we love you. We're sending love bombs to you, King.
ArAnGA.
ArAnGA.
Thank you.
ArAnGA.
God
Cheers,
bless
guys.
you.
See ya.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. I kept trying to get a speaker view, but I kept going to David and Krystal.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't get off them. But
Sorry.
no, it wasn't your fault. But
Now you can
That
see
was
the
amazing.
character.
That was
Popped
so
up so
amazing.
that was so great, right?
He's a character.
Man, that's who you want to be king. Someone like that.
Right.
He's
Down to
always said
earth.
that he wants to be a king of the normal people. He
Yes.
doesn't want all this protocol and all this crap. And
He
that's-
just wanted to go get his drink on.
exactly. Exactly.
I'm like,
That was really
it's
exciting.
amazing, man. That's so cool. God, that really made my day, Denise. Thank you.
Wasn't
And
that the
Charles,
best?
all of you guys, man.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it was incredible. Thank you. I mean,
That area,
speak to the king today. That is so cool.
that area, he lives right there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Got your invite, David.
Very nice.
Got to get your flip flops.
He's
Yo,
very-
no, you have no idea. I'm going to show him knocking at his palace. He's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Tell him if
You
he's
said I
looking
could
for someone
come.
to perform. He's looking for someone to perform. Let me know.
when I sent the boys over there, I just said to them, I want you to establish the truth. I want you to take what he's got and find out what's true and what's not true. And they were just absolutely blown away. And of course, Dave Mahoney is a film director and producer and what have you. So he knows, he's very inquisitive anyway. But he's doing so much research on it. But they're loving the journey. And I'll be honest, I'm loving the journey too, because me locked up for 14 weeks is a nightmare at the best of times. So I had to do something. It's a bit like being locked in your parents' bedroom. And you're told not to look in the drawer, but you've just got to have a look, haven't you? You've just got to. And you know what you find in there, you know what's in there. You have a place to look. And it's like this. We've gone into this room with Greg, and it's just a fascinating world. And then the other bits are all sort of playing into, where the Queen disappears and Prince Charles disappears and Prince Andrew disappears, and they're all sort of, and Harry buggers off to Canada or what have you. And it's sort of, hang on a second, is this all a coincidence or not?
What does Pew say about that? There is no coincidence.
I think honestly, this interview that, when we interview the king right now, just getting his personality and seeing his personality and how he interacts with people, I think it's going to give a lot of people hope and inspiration, because he comes off as such a brilliant, good man and just happy-go-lucky. Like, it almost looks like he won the lottery, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a common guy. It's just like, yeah, I'm a king now. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's just crazy,
But he sees it in a very different way from what the old ones of being a king and a ruler is.
Right.
He wants to be a king of the people and protect the people.
He seems more down to earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Down to earth,
Much
yes.
more.
Yeah.
When you could blend in with the people, that's the best way to be.
He's going to a kid's party right now to go drink.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Party. He's a party crasher.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep crashing my party. He's probably gonna be the last one to leave too. They're gonna be like, all right, man,
Yeah. No,
That's amazing.
He's very much that type of person. You know, he's very, very personable. And the lads, he's got a whole team around him all the time that are looking after him and protecting him. But I think the most interesting thing was when he submitted all the documentation to the United States of America, to President Trump, also to the Vatican, also to 10 Downing Street. There's been nobody that's raised any objection at all or questioned anything. If anything, just the opposite. It's sort of gone very quiet and people have started moving out. Which,
oh wow!
Yeah,
how come this didn't happen sooner? May I ask? Like, do you know?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I still talk to my military boys in the States, and now they see the battle as won. It's just cleaning up the bits afterwards, and we're waiting. I think a lot of the astrologers were thinking it would happen over this weekend, but I know that the global financial reset was they were hoping to have it done last week. They did a little false start to see if anything bad happened, and it didn't. So they'll probably push it through this week. I would hope on Tuesday, the financial reset. But we got a very detailed intel on Friday about it, and things are very, very good behind the scenes. And you know when you talk to them, and they've got a big smile on their face. And I have to say, I've never seen Donald Trump look so happy and so confident in my entire life. He just looks like he's on top of his game.
Yes, yeah. I agree with that.
Rally?
I see that.
Yes, I saw that too.
He's not worried about what people say.
No. And the other thing, I don't know, Charles, you'd probably know this, Charlie. I'm always looking at the wall of people behind him, because I just get a feeling there's a lot of people there that were supposedly missing, that suddenly they're no longer missing.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I know what you're saying. Yes.
I don't know.
Did you watch the Tulsa rally?
I didn't watch it, but I watched the highlights, bits of it. But he seems right on his A game.
You're right. I was just saying that yesterday. I was like, man, this guy is so confident, and he speaks in positive words. He's always projecting clarity and positiveness for the future. I'm like, man, this guy, he knows. He just knows it's done.
Yeah, it totally. And yeah, it's very, very exciting. We all want to cross the finishing line. Of course we do. But
Charles, I was going to ask you, Charles. I've been thinking like it's going to intensify the deep state. I still feel like they're still drowning and they're kicking and screaming, and I feel like it's. Do you feel the same way, that it's gonna intensify up until the elections, or do you feel like it's going to start dying down now?
No, it's going to get worse. And the latest one, Black Lives Matter, is obviously part of the deep state.
Right.
And it's quite interesting to see that George Soros and the Clinton Foundations are the financiers of Black Lives Matter. And the money that goes into there that's being gathered is going to the Biden campaign.
Huh.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. And, every single life matters in life, every life. And the other thing that I don't like is like trying to destroy our history. Yeah, our history has been bad. We accept that. But if you don't face up to your history, that doesn't mean destroy it. Face up to your history, then you can never move forward.
Agreed.
You need to know where you've come from to know where you're going.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's interesting how they're trying to destroy history. Look, England's been one of the world's worst for its history. We need to be reminded of our mistakes so that we don't make them again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Charles, I was a little confused on something you said earlier. You said that Trump will decide if he wants to go forth or step down, right? That's what you said?
That's correct.
Okay, is that because, we are going to have elections, right? Do you see elections, or are you saying there's going to be no elections because all this stuff's going to come out to the light?
We're going to go through the process, right, of the election?
I was told that the election will be nothing like you've ever seen before, whatever that means.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
And just remember, for those of you who followed the Nasara Jasara, legally in the documentation, when you declare Nasara, you've got 120 days before an election. So it forces all 209 countries that have signed up to it to have an election. But I think before that we get to that stage, Trump will need to make sure that he has removed the evil from each country that's in this system. And that includes the leadership in Spain. They'll be removed, but they will be replaced, or the choice will be those that are on side with Trump, with Nasara and Jasara.
What is Jasara? Nasara is the new world, is the new money system, right? Nasara, isn't that what it is?
Nasara is the national system for America.
Okay.
Jasara is the global system for the rest of the world.
Okay, so
the same. One's national, one's global.
So everybody else will be using the global, and then we'll have our own national?
Yeah, it was only because it was written in America as a national thing. And
okay.
The rest of the world said, yeah, we want to be a part of this. So they adapted it for the rest of the world and called it Jasara, which is the global one rather than the national one.
And it's going to be like equal trading, like every dollar's going to match or something, right? Okay.
Correct.
And what's going to happen to the IRS and Federal Reserve? They're just gone?
The Federal Reserve will disappear, but it will be a gradual process. He's already swallowed it up into the Treasury.
Right, right.
So he has.
I noticed that when he wrote the checks for the 1,200 or whatever it was, it said the Treasury and then signed by Donald Trump. I was like, okay, that's odd. Wouldn't it, if it was still the Federal Reserve, wouldn't it have said the Federal Reserve on there? Or am I right?
The transition has already started. The new USN has already been launched, but it's not public knowledge yet.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware about what's happened in China. Did I discuss that with you or not?
The new Chinese Republic, right?
The new Chinese Republic is, and the dragon notes and the gold dragon bonds and the gold bonds have been monetized in Switzerland last weekend. There's about $100 quadrillion worth of Chinese notes, and they've actually liquidated 100 trillion of them, monetized 100 trillion, and as of last weekend, America no longer has any debt. China no longer has any debt. Russia no longer has any debt.
Go ahead, Denise.
No, I said that's exciting news, and we're not going to hear that from the mainstream media.
No, you're not.
But the moment the money was paid back into the Federal Reserve, who had lent the money in the first place, so you've got all these trillions of dollars paid back into the Federal Reserve from Russia, China, and the United States. So there's zero debt. Then there was a subpoena issued against the Federal Reserve for fraud, and the guys there were all arrested.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is the money going to still say Federal Reserve notes, or is it going to say silver certificate?
No, the new notes will have no mention of the word Federal Reserve on it, because the Federal Reserve will be phased out over the next 12 months.
Okay.
Because it's a corrupt system.
Are we still going to have paper money?
You'll still have paper money, but there'll be a lot more use of digital money on the quantum financial system. But there will still be paper money, and I've actually seen the new US dollar notes, and they look lovely.
So let's say someone has like $100 grand in their mattress or something like that. Like, what do they? Can they trade that in for an equal trade?
Yeah, it'll be traded straight across into the new notes, and you, from a normal American person's point of view, you won't even notice the difference.
Wow.
It would just
this is such great news.
Bill. Sorry?
Can you explain more about the digital aspect of it?
The digital is the quantum financial system, which Trump is setting up, which will just be a far cleaner, far more simple way of moving money around. There will be new cryptocurrencies, 4 new cryptocurrencies, one American, one Russian, one Chinese, and one Indian. They're all coming out, but they'll all be backed by gold.
One of the things people they fail to realize, Trump was always a businessman.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a businessman all the time.
Yeah, and it's easy to criticize him for having minor misdemeanors in business. In life, you learn very, very little from success. You learn everything from failure. And because you don't challenge success, you take it for granted.
Right.
And when you make a mistake, it's like what you said earlier, David, about the 2 times you didn't feel fear was the 2 times you lost.
Yep.
And look back and analyze. You never analyzed it when you were winning, because you were just winning. Then suddenly you look back and go, that's why I lost.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, but you know, when that happened to me when I lost, I realized the reason I didn't have fear was because after I survived the knife incident and I almost died, that just really eliminated a lot of fear for me. I don't know. I mean, I just was a different person after that. I wasn't, it was traumatic and all that, of course, but it kind of, I stepped across a line of just this kamikaze, fearless, kind of careless fighter that I never used to be. I used to be a very caution, and although I was very explosive, I still had I was still very cautious and poised. After that, after the attack on my life, I became this emotional head case that was just like wanted to kill and attack, and I just didn't care anymore.
You know why? Because that's
what it was.
That's because you felt pain. You felt some real pain. So now nothing else can really pain you no more after that.
Right.
And that's what
I was like, man, I almost died. Like I was like, I should have died. I was just kind of like, this is all a cakewalk. I'm gonna go right through these guys. And then I learned that was my demise.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, getting stabbed is one thing, but there's a big difference when getting punched. A punch ain't gonna mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
And that's how it was, you know.
Krystal, you're very quiet. What's your take on all of this?
I'm just kind of taking everything in. It's like there's so many questions I have to ask, but there's also so many things that I also want to learn. Like, and one of the questions I have is like, obviously we know why things aren't televised. We know why the whole royal family can completely disappear and not be televised, but how can it possibly go on to this point where it's like nobody notices, nobody's talking about this? That kind of blows my mind.
It's amazing, isn't it? How
it is.
We've actually been programmed.
They entertain you. They entertain you. Keep you entertained so you don't think about it.
Correct. We've been programmed to watch the television, to believe the television. We watch entertainment programs, we watch movies, and it's all being fed into our mind, into our psyche, so that we don't challenge what's going on. And then suddenly, when it's like being in a box, and when you stick your head outside the box, you start to see what's going on. But loads of people have never even looked outside the box.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm finding it really exciting.
No, it's definitely exciting.
I mean, mainstream isn't covering any of this. It's like, I mean, this interview is the first, I mean, we're doing like the first most real interview with this guy.
Exclusive.
How do people not know this?
But let me ask you, Charlie, is the mainstream aware of all this and they're just not allowed, they're being suppressed? They all know about it.
Well, I've spoken to 3 or 4 major people who have, when I say have followers off the scale, I mean minimum of 5 million followers, and they've all told me that they've been advised to steer clear of this subject.
Wow.
Wow. But when is it going to come out? Like when? I mean, people are going to start to notice. There's always people outside the palace every day, and they have these different guards that were never there. You know, that just the whole process of it is changed, and obviously people are going to start to notice.
People will become aware, Krystal, when they do the revaluation, when they do the global financial reset, the virus will disappear, the vaccines will disappear, the riots will disappear, 5G will disappear as soon as they've done it. But you have to remember the 2 times in history that they planned to do this. The first time John F. Kennedy was killed, and the second time was September the 11th.
Wow.
10 a.m.
Wow.
They're making sure that no cock-ups happen this time. And once the reset is done, once this system is in place, then the doors will open and people will see what's going on. But I still think we'll only see probably 20% of what's actually happening.
Jeez.
Because
that's
80%
incredible.
want to see.
Denise, there's no reason why this shouldn't go viral. I mean, this is an enormous, monumental interview you just put
I
together.
think each and every one of us has to put it on our channel. That's what I think we should do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get it out there.
I'm extremely blessed because I've gone from 37 subscribers to 30,000 in 14 weeks.
That's amazing.
And we're getting over 150,000 views on our top videos, which is incredible.
That is
The
amazing.
roundtable started, since we did the roundtable, I went from 1.7 to almost 5,000 within what, a
Really?
week? When did we do the roundtable? Last week? I mean,
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of these friend requests, and people they want to hear more about this.
Yeah.
You know what, Denise? I was telling Krystal, I was like, it was funny about Denise was when you first contacted me, I could feel just what a good soul you were. You know what I mean? And I told Krystal, I was like, man, she's a good one. She's a good person. And I feel like light energy coming from her. And I go, she's a very positive person. So I was like, man, I'm definitely gonna jump on any kind of roundtable or discussion she ever wants. So I just want to say that, yeah, you're an amazing person. I'm very glad to have met you. And everybody you've introduced me to, Charles, and oh my gosh, I mean, I can't believe I'm talking to the hit artist, man. The roof is on fire. Well, that's amazing. It's cool. Yeah. All of you. It's been a pleasure to meet all of you, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I tell you before, David, I said, I really believe this is ordained of God. I really, truly believe that he opened all these doors. I mean, look at this. You had like 500 people emailing you, and everybody wanted to interview you. And I prayed about it. I said, God, if you want me to interview David, make it work, make it happen. And a few days later, you texted me, and the same thing with you, Charlie. I said, Lord, you want me to bring in Charlie? Yes. And so we're all here for a reason. I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and now you got the king. I mean, come on. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, what a day, David. You went from Home Depot to meeting the king.
I know. I still got to go back to buy my dad a peach tree for Father's Day.
Yeah.
That was great, Denise. Again, thank you. That was
great. Anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything before we end it?
I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see all you guys. I'm glad all you guys are healthy and happy.
Thank you.
And you carry on, Krystal, doing what you're doing, because you're a little.
I have one more thing. Charlie, you said that 5G is going to vanish. I need to know a little bit more about that because I'm so obsessed about it.
Oh, that's good. Right, 5G. Let's put it back into perspective. First of all, there's two different types of 5G. One is dangerous, one is not dangerous. But this is where you have to use common sense. In your house right now, Krystal, you've got many dangerous things. You've got electricity, you've got gas, you've got a car, you've got a toolbox. But you educate yourself in how to use all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a microwave, you've got an oven, you've got all these things in your house. We just need to educate ourselves as to how to use new technology safely. Now, I've understood that the Chinese version of 5G is, because of the frequencies, incredibly dangerous. But there are other versions of it. But the most important thing is to allow people to study and find out the pros and the cons. Because one of the things I've learned on this journey is there are many people that tell you it's a load of rubbish, but they've got no evidence. And then what you need is people to look at it, see where the problems are, because we live surrounded by dangerous things. Most Americans have a gun, dangerous, but know how to handle them. I can't imagine 5G is any more dangerous than a gun as long as it's handled properly. And as long as most people know that if with your iPhone, if you're on the phone for half an hour, you get a headache.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you consider that 5G is 100 times more powerful than 4G's, you're going to have a hell of a headache. So I think this is where common sense comes in when we need to look at it. Mm-hmm. And we need to know how dangerous it is and what the risks are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know what the risks are, I love my motorbikes. they're incredibly dangerous things, especially down here in southern Spain, because the driving down here is shocking. So you know how dangerous something is, but you manage it correctly. There's no point banning everything, because otherwise nothing would ever happen.
Right.
You need to know what the risks are.
That's true. Because you could breathe in smoke.
That's exactly right.
From the chimney, or from a car, or from smoking a cigarette. You know.
Research needs to be done so that we can be educated on what the risks are. Because is it going to be infertility? Is it going to be brain damage? Is it going to be stem cell damage? What is it going to be? Rather than everybody, because I just know that I get a headache, which suggests it's not doing me a lot of good.
Yeah.
I've now landed up talking on hands-free most of the time on my phone, holding it away from my head.
You know, sometimes I get a headache when I'll be outside and I'll get a headache, and then I'm like, gosh, man, and I know now to look around. I'll get this heavy feeling and this headache, and sure shit, there'll be a 5G tower right next to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, dude, that's how powerful they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that we're constantly being radiated with radiation, whether we want to be or not. That's the issue that I have with this whole thing. And it's not a choice anymore.
Yeah, that's where we need people like you. And also, there's a woman in England that Kate Shemarami. I've done an interview with her too. She's a nurse, and she's going after the 5G.
Next woman in a toxic world.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah. I've done 2 or 3 interviews with her. I chat with her every other day, just having a little natter, because not only does she want to get rid of 5G, but she needs a new boyfriend as well. So.
She's pretty too. She's a beautiful woman.
Oh, she's a good girl. She's got a great sense of humor too. So
great information.
Yeah, she is, and she's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
It's always very important to keep focused on this sort of stuff. And I spoke with Mark Steele, who's the guy that's taken the government to court on it, and he knows all the technical stuff, and he's very, very technical about it. He's a bit of a geek, but he knows all the stuff, and I love talking to him. And I said to him the other day, I said, yeah, it may well be dangerous, but we need to know what the dangers are, what the risks are, because I'll be honest with you, I'd give that up tomorrow if it was going to kill me. I'd just get one of the old Nokia single phones. I'd go back to the old days. Wouldn't bother me at all.
There are already proven cases of people getting cancer from the phone. If they would sleep with it near their head. One woman, she used to keep it in her bra strap, and she ended up with breast cancer. And they said,
"Oh wow!"
My little
men
sister.
keep it in their pocket right next to their,
Yeah.
Stop.
They even said the mask. They even said the mask you wear be giving you headaches.
Well,
I don't wear them. I don't wear them.
Breathing in and out of your exhale air, you're sucking it right back in.
It's breeding germs, and you're breathing those germs in, and they're just multiplying and become bacteria and everything else. It just doesn't even make any sense.
But this is where the governments have let us down, because it was made very, very clear by the WHO and the CDC that it was more dangerous to wear a mask. Now it was downgraded, and yet they hid it on their website. They hid it.
It was on the WHO website.
If you're looking after an older person that is sick, it's intelligent to wear it. Or if you have a virus, it would be intelligent. But if you have a virus, you tend not to go out anyway.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's common sense,
Yeah, exactly.
So when I go into stores, they make me walk in and they make you wear the mask. I wear it below my nose so I can breathe. I can't breathe with that.
I do that. I see a lot of people doing that, actually.
I bought one of these. I've never ever used it. It's a ventilator.
Great. Yes, I have one.
I've never ever used it, but it means that I don't have to wear a mask.
Exactly. I say I'm medically exempt. They can't say anything.
I have a card now, Hacking the Headlines. If you go to hackingtheheadlines.com, you can get a card, and it says, due to medical reasons, I cannot wear a mask. And they're not even allowed to ask you what your medical reasons are.
Yeah,
because that's against the HIPAA laws.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go get a card sent to me, or what do you mean? Like I can get it printed?
Yeah, if you go to Hacking the Head, I could show you what the card looks like. Give me 1 second.
Okay, man, that's what I'm gonna do then, because I mean, even if you just say it to them due to medical reasons, you can't. They can't ask you questions, right? I think that's what she told me.
They can ask you questions, but there are some stores that will refuse service to you if you go in with a mask, and they just said, this is our policy. If you don't have a mask, you can't come in. And even if you say you're medically exempt, there's so many videos surfacing all over the place, and people are arguing with the managers and this and that, and they don't care.
Yeah.
This one says you can't wear a mask due to medical reasons.
Where do I get that?
And then this one, this is before Trump said that it's voluntary for the vaccine. If they were going to make it mandatory, this one says, yeah, I cannot take the vaccine.
Where did you get that?
So you go to hackingtheheadlines.com and you'll see a link for the cards. And $5 a card, you get it in a few days. I already got a bunch of people asking me for them.
Hackingtheheadlines.com.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll put a link at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me that link too.
Yeah. Hacking like Lizzie Borden did to her stepmother. And hacking the
Well,
headlines.
that's used, Denise. I'm going to do that. Hackingtheheadlines.com.
Yeah.
You can just
There
show
are
them the
times-
card and leave you alone, I guess. That's also a more professional way than just saying it. If you actually show something, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah. Chances are, yeah,
I
they
must
will.
admit, I quite enjoy the challenge. Because when you're locked up for so long, I quite like a little bit of a challenge every now and then.
What happens when they tell you, where's your mask? What do you say to them? Does
I
that
let
happen?
them chase me around the store. Just try and outpace them, you know.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of a game because I find it a lot of fun.
The people that are crazy, I think here on Staten Island in one of the supermarkets, they were screaming and cursing at this person that didn't have a mask, and they actually chased her out of the store. They were calling her all kinds of names, and it's like they're getting crazy.
They are completely
It's crazy. If I was that person, I would have started coughing and then running after them.
Okay, I see it right there. Right there.
Back in the headlines. Yep, there you go. Like I said, it's $5. They'll send it to you in a few days, and it's just good to have. And you don't have to explain anything. You just show it to them. They can answer questions by law. That's it.
But the way they're tricking you is making you seem like you're like you're not courteous to your fellow man.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
well,
you
that's
don't have
the lie.
I'm like, no, I just don't like breathing in my own carbon dioxide, and I don't like suffocating.
I posted this on Facebook, and everybody was like, how do I get one? How do I get one? And one of them, she's a friend of mine, she said, I don't understand, Denise. What are you saying? That you don't care if people, get sick because you're not wearing a mask? But you know what? And I explained to her, I said, listen, I said, I have asthma. I said, and wearing a mask is actually giving me breathing problems. I said, and if you go to the WHO website, it'll say masks should not be worn by healthy people, only if you're caring for someone with the virus. Otherwise, it's not healthy to wear a mask. And then she says, oh, okay, I didn't know. So
exactly. It's all
they don't know.
And ill-informed people. They don't know.
They're being lied to every single day. It's ingrained in them that if we don't wear masks, everyone's going to die. So.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Denise, for everything. I'm gonna go to Home Depot and get my dad that Peachtree.
Yeah, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, everybody. Another great roundtable. I love it. I hope we could do more. This one was so great with the king. So thank you, Charlie, for bringing him on.
Pleasure.
And,
Thank you. Let's do this again, please.
Yes,
Anytime.
please. Yes.
Definitely. There's a lot of things going on this week, so next week will be a good.
Let's do it. Maybe we'll do it next weekend. You tell us whenever's good for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so all right, you hear that, guys? Stay tuned for roundtable
All right,
number
we'll be
4
here.
and hackingtheheadlines.com if you want to get these cards. And thank you for watching, and thank you guys so much for being part of the roundtable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Happy Father's Day. Enjoy.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
look at my card.
Oh, Grandpa.
Lovely.
Sweet, so sweet.